I'm going to quickly share a few details about what's happening in Palestine, and you tell me who's the oppressor and who's the oppressed. Just gonna share a few things, okay? You tell me who's the occupier and who's the occupied. Yalla bismillah. In Gaza, you have Palestinians who have been completely cut off from all water, food, electricity, and medical supplies. However, illegal Israeli settlers living on stolen Palestinian land have practically unlimited access to as much water, food, and medical supplies as they could dream of. On one end, you have 2.2 million Palestinians trapped into what has been called an open-air prison by the international community, in which they cannot get out and international aid cannot get in. Their movement is restricted and they are solely dependent on the mercy of the Israeli occupation. On the other end, you have illegal Israeli settlers who are free to move as they please, book flights wherever they want without anybody questioning them. In Gaza, you have over 400,000 people who have lost their homes and been effectively displaced because of Israeli airstrikes, 50,000 of whom are pregnant women, and 5,000 of which are due to give birth next month in a healthcare system that has completely collapsed. On the other end, you have illegal Israeli settlers living on stolen Palestinian land, which they could only live on by displacing Palestinians, most of which either ended up getting kicked out of the country in 1948 or getting stuck in Gaza. Also, they have access to some of the best healthcare in the region. Good for them, I guess, right? In Gaza, you have Palestinian children who write their full names on the palm of their hand so that in case they're killed by Israeli airstrikes, their dead bodies could be identified under the rubble. On the other end, you have Israeli propaganda and misinformation being spread in order to garner global support for their genocide in Palestine. For example, Prime Minister and war criminal Netanyahu posted a picture of a burnt baby, for it only to be discovered that it was an AI-generated picture of a dog. You heard me. The president of Israel posted on his official Twitter a picture of a charred dog and claimed that it was a dead Israeli baby in order to gather sympathy and support for his genocide in Palestine. American journalist Jackson Hinkle actually discovered this and reported it to the media. You see CNN, Fox News, BBC reporting on this? No, because they're all the ones spreading propaganda. We've been through this. This happened before in the Iraq War, where we all believed the propaganda that there were weapons of mass destruction. And the world gave their consent to slaughter 1 million innocent Iraqis. Come to find out that the mainstream media had lied. And there was actually no weapons of mass destruction. Just like they conditioned you in the Iraq War, what's stopping them from conditioning you now to support the genocide of Palestinians? In Gaza, you have Palestinian women who wear hijab 24/7 and dress modestly from head to toe. In case they are killed, they don't want their bodies to be naked and exposed. In case they are killed under rubble, they don't want the rescuers to come across them with their bodies naked and exposed to the world. They want to preserve some sort of dignity and modesty even in their last moments. Now let me ask you a question. Is this called self-defense? Who is the occupier and who is the occupied? Who is the oppressor and who is the oppressed? Do not be complicit in genocide. Do not stand on the wrong side of history. As we speak, the Israeli government is launching a genocide on the Gaza Strip, forcibly displacing over 1.1 million Palestinians from the north of Gaza to the south, shrinking the already densely populated Gaza Strip in half. This will effectively suffocate Palestinians into the south of Gaza, forcing them to leave behind all the land in the north where their families are buried under rubble, where their homes are, where their livelihoods are, and where effectively the largest hospital in Gaza is. Thousands of patients are receiving care, where thousands of staff are trying to help the injured. And mind you, this order to evacuate, aka forced ethnic displacement, comes after a week of intense and heavy Israeli aggression and airstrikes. And even though Israel promised these 1 million Palestinians 24 hours to go to the south and promised them safe routes, as they were fleeing for their lives with their livelihoods in their backpacks, some evacuated on foot, some evacuated on horseback, as they fled for their lives, Israel bombed them. These safe routes turned out to be a trap, and this was not an evacuation, it was a forced ethnic displacement by the Israeli occupation. You want to help Palestinians? Speak up about what is happening. Stand in solidarity unequivocally no matter where you are. Use your businesses or your creative talents in order to help Palestinians in any way you can. If you are able to donate, I myself have placed an emergency fundraiser in my bio that has a 100% donation policy. And if you are Muslim, pray, make du'at. Allah is the only one that can give us victory. As we speak, Israel is asking the world to condemn the dead corpses of Palestinians and asking the dying Palestinian corpses to use their final breath to condemn themselves. I'm going